Welcome everyone, this is Pineleaf Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin.
Hi.
Hello there, Terry. It looks like it's just us this week.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I don't know, but let's head into some game news. Looks like everyone else is going to be missing these release notes. We have an update 25.3 that was released.
Yes.
And this includes, of special note, a new Minas Morgul expansion instance. These were the instances. These were the 6-player instances. This update brings 3 new instances to the game, available to anyone who has purchased the Minas Morgul expansion. And you could, of course, learn more about the expansion in case you haven't purchased that yet. And there are 3 instances. Bar Nirnath, the Houses of Lamentation. This profane temple stands at the edge of the hidden vale of Thuringwach and is known only for the darkest of whispers. Until now, the temple's undead guardians and wicked cultists have grown restless since the Dark Lord's fall and yearn for blood and souls to slake the thirst of an even darker presence lurking the mountains beyond. And
that sounds like a fun time.
Yes.
Let's go have a picnic at the Houses of Lamentation.
Yes. This comes in solo/duo mode plus a 6-player mode. We also have the Kashan Kultot, the Halls of Black Lore. These halls were once the sanctuary of light and repository of all wisdom in Minas Ithil. In the years since the city fell under the sway of the Morgul, however, the power of the enemy has corrupted it, and these halls are now an archive of foul, forbidden knowledge. Face its keeper and survive his sorcery, or be tormented by enemies thought long defeated. And yes, I saw the preview video that was done on that a couple weeks ago when it first came on, and yes, these tormented by enemies long defeated, because you meet again some enemies that you fought in the distant past. So I would presume these are brought in by the foul sorceries and all that.
Oh, yay.
Yay, and this also has solo, duo, and 6-player versions. And finally, the Fallen Kings. This instance takes place during the Second Age and is only available as a 6-player version. Fight the 9 Nazgul or succumb on the battlefield. And in order to unlock this, you're supposed to have defeated all 9 of the Nazgul in the Second Age.
Oh my god. We couldn't even take on one of those things.
Yes. Yeah.
But hey, props to people that were able to do that.
I think that you fight 2 at a time or something like that.
That's ridiculously hard.
Yeah, it is a very hard instance, and in fact, that was the feedback that was given during the review video that was going through them, in how the Fallen Kings was a very hard one. And he was, of course, wondering at the time, how's it going to fit in with the lore? And, of course, it takes place during the Second Age, and that's how they get around the little bit of a problem that you've got there.
Yeah, because in the Second Age, Mordor, when we go back in time to relive Isildur's memories, sorry, spoiler. should have prefaced that with a spoiler. When we go back to Second Age Mordor for reasons, it's a little better. Yeah, they're just wandering around out on the landscape. These 9 Nazgul, and you're like, can we? Sans was like, can we poke it? And I'm like, well, we got to go back to the landscape anyway. So if we die, we're just gonna go from a res circle. So okay, so we did, and we died, and it didn't actually take that. It was like ridiculously did not take that long at all for us to just splat. Okay.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, though, weren't the Nazgul 130 and we were only 124, 125 at the time?
Maybe, but I don't think being 130 is actually going to help us.
Well, if you're in a raid or in a 6-player group, it might.
Well, yeah, there's that. I mean,
Yeah,
we weren't either of those things either.
yeah, that's the trouble. We're underleveled and understaffed. Yeah. So I get the impression though that if you complete the deed of killing all, or defeating, I should say, since you obviously won't be killing the Nazgul since they
Right,
can't
because they don't really die.
Right, because it's another full age before they all die completely.
Because
If you,
reasons.
yes, if you manage to defeat all 9 of them, then I think that's how you unlock this instance. So yes, you'll have plenty of practice fighting Nazgul before you enter into this instance.
I guess.
Other notes: in crafting, Minacito minstrel instruments recipes available for barter at the White Company Quartermaster no longer require Woodworker Crafting Guild reputation to barter for use. These recipes also no longer bind on acquire, although recipes you already have will remain bound to your account. Woodworker and weaponsmith recipes available from the Reclamation of Minacito reputation vendors no longer bind on acquire, although recipes you already have will remain bound to your account. And softly moonlit essences now disenchant to a malleable moonlit essence. Malleable moonlit essences are required to craft more powerful essences. Whatever.
Yeah, this again reminds me why I don't do crafting.
Yes. And as for items, an error has been corrected where relic exchange on the Reclamation of Minas Ithil barter vendors. You can now receive 1 relic of Minas Ithil in exchange for 50 sigils of Imlat Ithil instead of the inverse. Once reaching the standing reclamation, the reclamation continues. Yes, the previous patch notes said it was going to be this way, but for some reason they were the inverse. People, of course, reported that right away, and so it got corrected for this update. The White Company Quartermaster Reputation vendor now offers Minas Morgul housing music boxes available for sigils of Imlat Ithil once you have reached ally standing. The Adventurer's Loot Box gear, which when opened at level 130, will now be a base item level of 407. The Adventurer's Quartermasters now offer softly moonlit essences and incomparable armor and jewelry for level 130 characters. For monsters, the Wraith skill Terrible Retribution has had its reflect damage lessened from 25% to 15%. Now, I can only imagine it has got to be really, really bad in Minas Morgul because of the upping of things, because we've been living with this at 25% for how long?
A really long time.
Yes, at least since Mirkwood, maybe even earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been rather nasty of late, probably because of the up and damage by the enemies up in the Minas Morgul area and in Mordor. And Quest and Adventure Areas instance, the Forgotten Lords. The instance will now continue to work if the player is defeated mid-fight. For the quest, Hobbling Homeward, Malhar now hobbles correctly. I guess I don't want to know what an incorrect hobble looks like. And for the quest, a weapon of old, Nar properly repairs the axe now.
Oh, good.
Okay.
It's really that's just, and probably the other one too, is just an animation fix.
Yeah.
Like, it said he repaired the axe, except he doesn't actually repair the axe.
Ah, okay, I see now. Because I thought I heard someone complaining that it wasn't working at all.
Yeah, it said he did something and he didn't actually, like, even move.
Oh, we didn't even, okay. And as for miscellaneous, several French and German translations have been updated. And finally, there are, of course, the usual known issues. And the known issues are, there are some item translations still to be fixed in French and German. And for Bar near not the Houses of Lamentation, the discovery deed is not yet completing, and this is temporarily not required for access, and the instance can be entered through the instance finder. Note, though, of course, is once this gets fixed, you will need to complete the deeds. So keep that on your mind.
Cut out there for a second. I'm sorry.
All right.
It said, I got Bar near at the Houses of Lamentation, and then it cut out.
All right, we'll start this again. And, of course, we have the usual known issues. There are some translation items still for the French and German clients. And for Bar Nearnath, the Houses of Lamentation, the discovery deed is not currently completing, and this instance cannot be accessed from the landscape. This deed is temporarily not required for access, and the instance can be entered through the instance finder. Just note, though, that once they fix this issue, you will need the deed in order to be re-entering it. So at that point, you will have to make sure you head into the proper location and get that deed. And the boss, Agath Kali, can continually reset in solo duo versions of the instance, preventing its completion.
That sounds like a problem.
Yes. And players can find themselves unable to get back into battle with the Gaunt Woman after a party wipe. So you don't want to wipe in that one, apparently. And as for the Halls of Black Lore, this instance cannot be completed in duo group size. In other words, maybe wait until the next patch before you get too much into these instances.
Which, with any luck, will be this week.
Yeah, I would expect it to be this week because they tried to get those in. There's also an issue not mentioned here with the launcher where sometimes the newsfeed will go blank. It's been inconsistent with me because sometimes I see the newsfeed come through properly and I'm able to see it, and sometimes it's completely blank.
Yeah, I have that too.
So keep that in mind, and that's also slated for the next update. So between those two items, they're most definitely shooting for next week to it. So the only thing that will prevent it is if something went wrong in attempting to fix those issues. But those are the release notes for 25.3. Now, there's also a little note on the forums relating to Rohan housing. And this is from Scenario, who says, we are in active development on Rohan housing. 2 neighborhoods, in fact. And while you won't be able to get to them for a while still, you should be able to see the landscape changes being made for them soon.
That sounds cool.
My guess is that when they release the landscape updates to go with the Legendary server opening up to Rohan, we'll be able to see probably the locations where those neighborhoods are going, some landscape changes. But won't be able to go into them yet or anything like that.
When is Rohan supposed to drop for the Legendary servers?
That's supposed to drop in mid-February.
Okay. Not playing on Legendary server, so I'm not really keeping track.
Yeah, not keep track. Right. So in mid-February, we will be expecting Rohan on the Legendary servers, and when that happens, they might. I have a feeling that we will be able to see some changes that will say, looks like there's going to be a housing neighborhood in this area. But the note here, they say that there are going to be 2 neighborhoods, not just one. Now, I don't know whether when they open up Rohan housing, whether they're both opening at the same time or if they're opening up one with Eastern Rohan and then another one with Western Rohan when that comes up several months later. We'll have to find that out. But I know because a lot of people have been asking for housing in Adoras. So if it's Adoras, then I have a feeling that one will be pushed back until, Western Rohan is released. We'll have to find that out. Probably next month we might get a better word on it. At least we might find out where at least one of the neighborhoods is.
Mm-hmm.
So let's head into the LOTRO Beacon. And this is issue 145. The LOTRO Beacon, on the top, we've got someone fighting some of the dead. It looks like that place near the instance, near the 3-player instance where you have all those, where you fight against all those dead, and the Kirgrim and all.
Yeah, the Houses of Lamentation.
I don't think that's the Houses of Lamentation.
Well, it's in the area near the Houses of Lamentation.
Okay.
I don't remember what they actually called it on the map, but yeah, that's where that is, with the altars and stuff.
Yeah, with all that lights. Winterstock was a huge success last weekend on Langeable, and if you wish to see the archives, there is a link to them. The world recently mourned the passing of Christopher Tolkien, and players held their own tributes in the game. You can find some of these pictures of one of the events at a link provided. And LOTRO Guide is one of the most updated German fan sites and offers news and new and returning players a great deal of information. And you can check out the link, but remember, it is a German site, so it will help a great deal if you can read German. Now into the Kin Hall. Rare Breed is an Arkenstone-based kinship recruiting those who thirst to improve their skills. If you're interested in learning group mechanics, getting gear advice, and learning class builds, this kin is for you. Contact Sansao or Dottie in-game, or click for the website link. So let's go into our weekly comment. Which makes an overall more useful tool? A shovel or an axe?
This actually required quite a bit of thought on my part.
Yeah.
But I ended up saying the shovel.
Right? For what reason?
Well, I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with a shovel. It's not more than just digging a hole. I mean, if the edge is sharp enough, you could actually cut something with it. And it also works as a makeshift weapon. You can whack somebody over the head with it.
All right. And the axe?
Well, the axe, you can cut stuff and you can whack people with it, but that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess you could actually dig with it if you were really, really desperate, but trying to dig with an axe is going to be more of an exercise in frustration.
Probably, yes. You got a point there. I guess because when I think of them, the first context I think of them in is in Minecraft, where in Minecraft an axe is 10 times more useful than a shovel. But in real life, I've certainly used shovels a lot more than I've used axes. So let's head into the fan site news. LOTRO players last week talked about Saruman and exactly what color he was. Yes.
Saruman of many colors.
Yeah, well, last week he was a primer more like anything else. Primer, yes. Yes, and LOTRO Stream is your home to find LOTRO streamers on Twitch. You can check out recent shows by Shin, Balviel, and Roxy. And also on Twitch you have Strimtone gets a neck brace. Bloodborne, Quest in Arkenstone, and Stine runs her weekly stream. And over on YouTube, Bandang begins the end. John does a Harrow T5, and Dolphin Dasher goes hunting. And now, let's look at the screenshot of the week, where it looks like we have a warden trying to turn himself into a fire elemental or something.
Well, we definitely decided it's the warden. That's actually the forges at Thorin's Hall.
Ah, the forges at Thorns Hall. All right. Yes.
Actually, you know what? It might be a Moria forge since the animation's on fire, and I don't think you can actually walk into the ones in Thorin's Hall.
I'm trying to think. I know you could walk on top of the hot area because I've done that before. But yeah, I don't know if you can go inside them.
Yeah, and I don't think you get the little on fire animation.
Okay. Baldenarth undergoes tank training in this week's screenshot. Thanks to Baldenarth for sending this in. And that is it for our beacon for this week. So Terry, what's on sale?
Travel stuff. The weekly coupon gets you a free tome of tracking with coupon code TRACKME now through January 30th, and find your Shadowfax. Get 30% off select war steeds, riding skills, select mounts, movement speed buffs now through January 30th. So now's the time if you don't already have it. Journeyman riding.
Whee!
30% off. You're not going to get a better deal.
Well, there is that. And now Dorlin points out that it's possible that he's trying to temper his armor from that screenshot.
Possibly, but that's not actually how it works because wardens wear medium armor, which is cloth.
Well, that's a little bit of a detail. Let's into LOTRO site news, or LOTRO Players News site news. Where is Emeralina number 39? And last week, she was at the teeming nest in the Great River. And this week, it looks like she's crying because it's raining. Or face palming or crying. It's hard to tell me she's got this big hat on. It looks like she's all dressed for a spring outing, and
it's raining.
It's raining. Yeah, and it's raining and ruining the whole
thing.
thing.
It's very sad.
Yeah, so I can understand why she's crying. So that's where's Emeralina number 35. Maybe she needs a rain jacket to go on to put over the dress. So let's into our week in LOTRO. Terry, what did you do?
Not lots. I actually added last week in here too, since I wasn't here last week. But Sarissa has progressed through Central Gondor to Lynn here. Did some sneaking around at a certain lighthouse, which was a lot of fun. Still really perplexed by the half-troll question, which is less fun. It's just mind-boggling. Half-trolls and half-what? You don't really want to think about what else, but you can't not think about what else. So
half-giant?
It's just problematic just in general to consider half-trolls. I said this way back when Gondor first came out with half-trolls, so I've pretty much said this like every time I end up in Gondor and that find myself up against half-trolls. The fun thing is that as the burglar, those guys have an induction circle as they're working up to their stun. And as movement challenged as I always claim to be, I have gotten less so on the burglar since the infamous Carndoom Day Spa adventure. So I see that circle and I just don't even stand around waiting for him to complete it. If I can't interrupt it with the addle, I'm backing up. So he can go ahead and stomp his little foot, and then I come in and I stab him some more.
Yeah. Stab, stab, stab.
Stab, stab, stab. Yeah. Almost kind of done with that area of Central Gondor, Dorton, Erniel, which is where she's at. I've got 1 or 2 more quests before I can leave the area. And then last week, Terry Adwin finished up the Black Book, except for the epilogue. So now she's got a housing item, which is so I have Sauron's little black book, you guys, to hang in my house. I always thought that that was great, that it's basically Sauron's little black book. Um, and now I have it, and it's awesome. And then we promptly remembered why she really dislikes Easterling dwarves, the Zoruka, because we had to go back to Kill's house for the epilogue. And man, I really hate that guy. He
Oh, poor
just
Jeannie.
he just irritates me every time. Every time we see this guy, it's really really irritating. I mean, which is fun, um, story wise for the NPC, and I'm sure that I have other NPCs who will be less irritated. But yeah, every time Terry Edwin runs across this guy, she winds up really really irritated. And this was no exception, so it's par for the course. And yeah, so pretty light week. How about you, Pineleaf?
All right. I'll begin with my burglar who finished up the epic story line in Eastern Rohan and then tried to help an inebriated musician. But my cures for hangovers and drunkenness just did not work all that well.
Oh, go figure, because I remember some of the stuff they have you doing for the cure for that. The so-called cure for hangover.
Yeah. I have a feeling that people in history have come up with some interesting. And I'm wondering if the cures that were done there were whether they were made up by the staff or whether those were things that they have found that people have tried over history, despite the fact that it most likely didn't help in any way. So I did love the one, of course, with the where you have the mixture of water and honey, where he says, "Oh, this mead tastes a bit watery."
Yeah.
And for the Friday night fight, we first failed in trying to do the Dome of the Stars. Then we failed in the Dungeons of Dol Guldur. And then we failed at Samath Gul. It
Wow.
wasn't exactly our best night.
I guess not. That sounds
Yeah,
really depressing.
it was really depressing. They always just wanted to try these. Now, what's really bad is that these were all at level 92, is how we had them set. We had one member in the party who was 92, and everybody else was and not 92. We had it set at 122. And we had one member of the party who was 122, and everybody else was 130.
Wow.
And we were just being torn to pieces.
That's really bad. I'm sorry.
I think somebody was trying to treat us as a well-organized power group, the one who was selecting our instances there, when we were a casual group that meets on Fridays. And yeah, we were equipped as a casual group that meets occasionally on Fridays. So yeah, that didn't work very well. Then during the field trip, we went deeding, and I demonstrated that no matter what class I'm playing, I can contrive to be the last one to get a hit in during the fight. When I say the last one is, I mean the last. I mean usually I get ready for the shot, start the shot, and I get the message, "Oh, sorry, already dead." We were going through the Lone Lands with our level 105s.
And so you were on a warden.
No, I was on a hunter, blue line.
What?
I started out yellow, I switched to blue line. Yeah, I was on a hunter, and the minstrel and the lore master. I don't know about the guardian. I have feeling the minstrel and the lore master took care of everything. Yeah, everything was dead before I.
Okay, well, the fact that there was a minstrel and a lore master in the group, that explains it. Because I'm like, yeah. Wait, what? What do you mean the hunter can't hit stuff?
Yeah, that's the thing. I had a lore master and a minstrel with it. So that's why I say that no matter what class, because I can even play a hunter and still be the last one to get a shot in. Okay, that's right. I keep on forgetting is I don't know about the Guardian. It's possible that the Guardian was even after I was. So,
well, the Guardian may not have even bothered.
Yeah, well, that's another possibility, yes.
At that point, the Guardian's just kind of there to keep everybody together.
Yeah, there is that. And that's my week in Lotro. We currently have 14 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support Lotro players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon.
Man, our supporters are dropping like flies.
Yikes. Yeah. And then let's head into the emails for this week. We actually have an email from Shipwreck, and what does Shipwreck say, Terry?
Shipwreck writes, "Hey guys, this is Darius/Shoreless/Shipwreck. Some years ago I did a podcast called Beneath Your Feet, and I still think it holds up all these years later. For that reason, I transferred the show to Anchor.fm, who does hosting for free. Would you please spread the word that the podcast is available again?" There you go, word is spread. There's a link to it in the show notes. A link on LOTRO Players would be amazing as well. It's in the show notes. It should also be available on iTunes, Spotify, etc. Thanks. On an unrelated note, I've got the podcasting itch again. While bringing back Beneath Your Feet would be fun, the format is very time-consuming, so I thought a talk show-style show might be easier. Specifically, I would love to do a roundtable-style show that focuses on playing each class. If I get real crazy, I do it in annual seasons and talk about updates to the class each year. Seems like y'all are the last LOTRO podcast standing, so I'll ask you, do you think that kind of thing would go over well with the community, especially since LOTRO Academy is defunct? Thanks.
Right.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, because this is the niche that is now empty because LOTRO Academy isn't around any longer.
Well, so, and Academy wasn't really doing a lot of class stuff either.
Oh, yeah. Well, they went on. I'd say I think twice they attempted to do a class series. They never finished the second series. I think they're about halfway through it before
things happened.
Yeah, before things happened. But yes, I think it'll be a good idea because a lot has changed on the classes over the last couple of years, and I'm sure there are a number of people here who have a few tips on it, especially newer players. So I will say that there should be a niche for this. And what's the worst that could happen? I'd say go for it.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Now, if you'd like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@LOTROPlayers.com, and you can also follow us on Twitter at the Players Alliance, at Players Outline, and LOTRO Players at LOTRO Players, Arendis at Arendis, Pineleaf at Pineleaf Needles, Senswinda at Senswinda, and Terry Edwin at Terry Edwin. And the Players Alliance has two shows on Mondays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROPlayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.